everyone, it's me, Cici, and if I told you that you could make an artisanal cutting board on your own, would you believe me? Hello everyone, it's me, Cici, and happy 2026 everybody! We are just wrapping up last holiday season, and this is actually the final project that I made in 2025. And this was actually thrown together relatively quickly for a really nice artisanal cutting board. My sister from over at Just Finance sent her Christmas list to the family group chat, and I was looking through it, and I was like, a nice cutting board? I could do that! Could I do that? And spoiler alert, I could do that, but the process was not super straightforward at all times. This process was such a test in trusting the process for me. Things were looking bad, like there were things that were crooked, glue everywhere. I really did not think it was gonna turn out how it turned out. So if you are planning on making a cutting board and you don't want to make the same mistakes as I did, please, please, please watch through the whole video so that you can learn from my mistakes. Welcome to the Kringle Christmas shop. You are probably seeing this in January, but I've got all of my flannel on and I am going to go and make some cutting boards. They're not allowed to know what I'm making. Anyways, I've got this setup right here. I'm really only using a chop saw and a table saw over here, and then I've got some wood glue, and there actually aren't going to be any nails in here. It's just going to be wood glue and hardwood. So today I'm going to be using some maple and some walnut to try and get some fun contrast in there. I've got a really cool design pattern. These are my design ideas right here. This is just like a lot of rough sketching. So these are 1.25 inches. So I need to make rectangles that are 3 times as long as they are tall. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna rip the boards in half to, gosh, what was the math? It was like 9/16. So I'm gonna rip these down to 9/16 and then, oh god, what's 9/16 times 2? 1 11/16. Okay, so I'm going to mark that out on the board and then rip it, and it's gonna be great. Guys, look, the walnut shavings on the floor look like chocolate powder or something. I thought it was fun. Back to our regularly scheduled program. So because I picked this checkerboard pattern, I was giving myself a little bit of a challenge right off the bat. See, for most people when they're making their first or second cutting board, they go with a design where they make a whole line first and then they'll like smush them together like this. This is kind of an example of what I'm talking about. But what I did instead was that I made the little cubes and then I turned the cubes into lines and then I turned the lines into a whole board. And because I needed the cubes to all be the same size as opposed to having the lines, which could be different sizes, because of that, I was expecting a lot more precision from my materials than I should have reasonably expected. What's good, everyone? We're back in the shop. So if you'll take a look here, these are all the little blocks, and I clamped them together like this, but they are separated into chunks of 3. I decided to go with the basket weave pattern. I think that it is a super clean pattern. My dad said that he liked it better. And I'm gonna do that and take a piece of scrap walnut, which is hiding over here, and use it for the border. Let's get to work. So as you can see, the little guys here are unfortunately not super straight, which in most scenarios would be okay because this is a gift for a lesbian couple. However, we don't want the nasty meat and veggie juices to seep into the sides or like the little holes in the cutting board. So I am going to go ahead and take our good friend, the table saw, right over there, and I am going to just rip off a little bit from each side, and hopefully that'll make it a little bit more straight. Can you focus on my hand, please? That'll make it more straight. Hello? Okay, let's get to work. Just been doing that for like the past 5 minutes. It's crazy. I need to go and help my dad with some phone stuff, but like, okay, I'm gonna clean up. So, no. Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't really get any footage of the final product or of the lovely couple opening up their present because I didn't want to mess with the holiday magic that much. You know, there's something to be said for living in the moment. But they did send over a little picture of their New Year's dinner, and look, there it is, there's the cutting board. My final thoughts, if you are planning on making a cutting board yourself, are 1, give yourself a lot of leeway with your materials. I'm not sure what the term in woodworking is, but I know in sewing that we have seam allowance, which is basically a 1/2 inch of extra fabric where you are going to be sewing your hem. Couldn't hurt to use a similar concept in your woodworking in case something doesn't quite line up. And number 2, be ready to do a lot of sanding. Look, although the pattern was cool, it was a relatively simple pattern, and I don't think it would have turned out half as good as it did if I hadn't spent hours sanding it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a proper like down below. Comment your experience with woodworking. If you've made a cutting board, that should be your 2026 project. 2026 is the year that we all make ourselves gourmet cutting boards. And subscribe for more cozy, chaotic, creative content from my lovely face, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!